Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be tackling Anthony Robbins' Unlimited Power, the new science of personal achievement. I'm so pumped for this one. It's just like full of so many ideas about success and mindset and even, food science, which was kind of a surprise to me. You ready to unlock some serious potential?
Absolutely. You know what I find fascinating about this book is that it's not just like, you know, preaching affirmations and telling you to feel good. It like delves into practical psychology and uses real-world examples to show how these principles actually work. So by the end of this deep dive, my hope is that you walk away with some solid tools to start applying to your own life.
Okay, cool. So Robbins starts off strong. He's quoting Thomas Henry Huxley, and the quote is, "The great end of life is not knowledge, but action." It's like a call to actually do something with all the knowledge that we're gathering,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It's about bridging that gap between just knowing something and actually going out doing it.
Right.
And that's exactly where his ultimate success formula comes in. And it's more than just a goal-setting framework. It's a system for continuous improvement.
Okay, so the ultimate success formula. Let's break it down. Step one is define your desires. I mean, that sounds simple enough, but is there more to it than, just making a wish list?
Definitely. It's about getting really clear on what you truly want. Not just vague aspirations, but clearly defined outcomes. Think of it as setting your internal GPS.
Okay, got it. So no more I want to be successful, but more like I want to launch my own business by next year.
Precisely. The more specific you are, the better that internal GPS can guide your actions.
Okay, so we've set our destination. Great. Step two is take action. I can definitely get behind that. No more procrastinating.
Yeah, right. And Robbins really emphasizes that action doesn't have to be these massive leaps. Even just small, consistent steps can create significant momentum over time. It's about building the habit of taking action.
That makes a lot of sense. But what if I'm taking action and it's just not working? What then?
Well, that's where step three comes in. Recognize the results. So it's about being brutally honest with yourself, analyzing whether your actions are actually moving you towards your goal.
Oh, so it's like a built-in feedback loop. We're not just blindly charging ahead. We're constantly checking our progress.
Exactly, exactly. And based on that feedback, step four is to be flexible. So if something's not working, you adjust your approach. This whole formula is about constantly refining your strategy based on those real-world results.
Okay, so it's a constantly evolving process.
Right.
I like that. It reminds me of that story that Robbins tells about Steven Spielberg, how as a kid he snuck onto the Universal Studios lot because he wanted to learn filmmaking. He didn't just dream about it. He took action even if it meant, bending the rules a little.
Right. And that's a great example of how even unconventional actions can contribute to success. He saw an opportunity and he seized it, even at such a young age.
Very inspiring. Okay, so we've got this formula for taking action and achieving goals, but Robbins doesn't stop there. He dives into what he calls the power of state, which, I don't know, it sounds a bit mysterious.
Yeah, it's not as mystical as it sounds. Your state just refers to your mental and emotional condition at any given time. And Robbins argues that your state basically dictates your actions, your decisions, even your perception of the world.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So if I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed, I'm probably going to make different choices than if I'm feeling calm and confident.
Yeah, absolutely. Our emotional state acts like a filter through which we experience everything.
Interesting. And Robbins says that our state is determined by what he calls internal representations. What does that mean exactly?
Well, he's talking about the pictures that we create in our minds, the things that we say to ourselves, and the feelings that we experience. So think about a time when you were really excited about something. What were you picturing in your mind? What was your inner dialogue like?
Okay, yeah, I can see how those internal representations shape our emotional state. But can we actually control these internal representations, or is it all just happening automatically?
Well, that's the exciting part. Robbins argues that we absolutely have the power to control our state by consciously changing our internal representations. And he actually offers a practical technique called the swish pattern to do just that. So the swish pattern is essentially a mental trick, where you take a negative image or thought and quickly replace it with a positive one. And you just do this repeatedly. And eventually your brain starts to associate that positive feeling with the situation that was once causing you stress.
Oh, so like if I'm about to give a presentation and I'm feeling all nervous, I could picture myself, confidently delivering the speech, hearing applause, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You're basically rewiring your brain's response to that trigger.
Hmm.
Now, another key aspect that Robbins highlights is the power of belief. He argues that our beliefs literally shape our reality. So if you believe that you can achieve something, you're far more likely to actually take the actions necessary to make it happen.
Makes sense. But what if you're like battling these limiting beliefs, like those I'm not good enough or I'll never be able to do that kind of thoughts?
Well, Robbins addresses this head on. He actually lists out what he calls the 7 lies of success.
Hmm.
These are common beliefs that tend to hold people back. For example, the fear of failure. That can be super paralyzing, but Robbins reframes it as a learning opportunity. He encourages us to see failure not as an end, but as feedback that helps us adjust our course.
That's a really good way to look at it. So we're defining our desires, we're taking action, we're managing our state, and we're challenging those limiting beliefs. I mean, this is a lot to take in.
It is, but Robbins provides like a structure to make it actionable. One of the most interesting concepts he introduces is neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short.
Okay, NLP. That sounds a little, I don't know, intimidatingly technical. What's the basic idea behind it?
Well, think of it as like the language of the mind. So NLP explores the connection between our thoughts, our language, and our behaviors. And Robbins actually gives us practical tools to use NLP to literally reprogram our thinking for success.
Oh, okay. So could you give us like an example of an NLP technique, something we could actually try out in our own lives?
Absolutely. Remember the swish pattern we talked about earlier? Well, that's actually an NLP technique. Another one that's really powerful is called anchoring.
Anchoring. I'm not familiar with that one. What is that?
It's basically a way to create an instant trigger for a positive emotional state. So think of a time when you felt super confident, successful, really immerse yourself in that memory. What were you seeing? What were you hearing? What were you feeling?
Okay, yeah, I'm picturing a specific moment, feeling that surge of confidence.
All right, good. Now, while you're holding on to that feeling, choose a simple physical gesture like touching your thumb and forefinger together or squeezing your fist. And that gesture becomes your anchor. So the next time you're in a situation that requires confidence, you just perform that same gesture and it'll trigger the associated feeling, helping you shift your state instantly.
Wow, that's fascinating. It's like having a secret weapon against self-doubt. So NLP is about understanding how our brains work and using that knowledge to our advantage.
Exactly. Now, here's where things take a bit of an interesting turn. Robbins actually dedicates a significant portion of unlimited power to the importance of nutrition and exercise.
Yeah, that surprised me too. It seemed a little out of left field.
Not really, if you think about it. Robbins emphasizes that peak performance requires a holistic approach. Our physical state directly impacts our mental and emotional states.
Oh, so he's saying that what we eat and how we move our bodies can actually affect our ability to achieve our goals.
Absolutely. For example, he talks about the importance of water-rich foods for optimal brain function and energy levels. He also delves into the science of food combining, advocating for separating proteins and starches for better digestion.
I've heard about food combining, but never really understood the logic behind it. What's the connection to, like, unlimited power?
Well, the idea is that when we combine certain foods, our bodies have to work harder to digest them, leading to sluggishness and decreased energy. By separating proteins and starches, Robbins suggests that we can optimize our digestive processes, leading to increased energy and mental clarity.
So it's all about maximizing our physical resources to fuel our actions and ultimately achieve our goals.
Exactly. It's fascinating how he ties these seemingly unrelated topics together to paint a complete picture of personal empowerment.
Now, going back to what you mentioned earlier about modeling successful people, how does that tie into Robbins' framework?
Well, that's a crucial element. Robbins stresses that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can actually learn from those who have already achieved what we desire. He calls it modeling of human excellence. It's like reverse engineering success.
So instead of trying to figure it all out on our own, we can study the patterns and strategies of those who are already getting the results we want.
Exactly. Robbins even gives like a step-by-step process for eliciting someone's strategy. It involves observing their behaviors, asking targeted questions, and really paying attention to their language patterns. It's like becoming a detective of success.
I love that analogy. So we're not just blindly copying someone else's actions, we're understanding the thought process behind their success.
Right. It's about uncovering the underlying beliefs, values, and strategies that drive their actions. And then we can experiment with adapting those elements to fit our own unique personalities and goals.
It's like having a cheat sheet. But instead of just getting the answers, you're learning how to think like a top performer. Now, earlier you mentioned the syntax of success, and I have to admit, that one went over my head a little bit.
Okay. Think of syntax as like the order of operations.
Mm.
It's not enough to just know the individual steps involved in achieving something. You also need to understand the precise sequence that will create the desired outcome.
Oh, okay. Can you give me an example of what you mean?
Sure. Let's take motivation as an example. Robbins points out that most motivational speeches follow a very similar syntax. They start by building rapport with the audience, then they present a problem, offer a solution, and end with a call to action. And that specific order is crucial for creating a compelling narrative that inspires people.
That's really interesting. So it's not just about the content of what you're saying, but it's also about the order in which you present it.
Exactly. And understanding this syntax can be applied to all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Presentations, marketing campaigns, even everyday conversations. It's about influencing others effectively by structuring your communication in a way that resonates with their thought processes.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Goal setting, state management, NLP, food science, modeling success, even the syntax of persuasion. It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is, but it all ties back to the book's core message, which is unlocking that unlimited power.
So what does unlimited power actually mean? It sounds a bit, I don't know, grandiose.
Robbins defines power as the ability to take action. So in essence, unlimited power is about having the ability to consistently take the actions necessary to achieve your goals and shape your life according to your vision.
So it's about mastering your mind, your body, your emotions, your beliefs. It's about the whole package.
Exactly. It's about breaking free from those limiting beliefs and stepping into a realm of infinite possibilities. And the most empowering message is that this power is actually available to everyone. It's not a special gift reserved for, a select few.
It's about understanding these principles and putting them into practice.
Precisely. Unlimited power is not just a theoretical treatise. It's a practical guide filled with actionable tools and techniques to help you take control of your life and create the future that you desire.
And that's what makes it so compelling, right? It's a call to action. It's a reminder that we all have the potential to achieve incredible things.
It all starts with recognizing that power lies within us. It's about making a conscious choice to step into that power and start shaping our own reality.
Wow. Okay. It's been quite a journey through unlimited power.
Yeah.
From setting clear goals to understanding the power of our beliefs, we've really covered a lot of ground. What stood out to you the most from this deep dive?
I think what's most compelling to me is how Robbins connects these seemingly disparate areas, like psychology and personal development and even nutrition, into a cohesive framework for achieving success. He highlights that true power really comes from understanding and mastering all aspects of ourselves, our minds, our bodies, our emotions, the whole package.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about taking practical steps to align your thoughts, your actions, even your physical state with your goals. It's a really holistic approach.
Exactly. And one of the things I find the most empowering about Robbins' approach is his emphasis on modeling excellence.
Yeah.
We don't have to figure everything out from scratch. We can actually learn from those who are already succeeding in the areas that we aspire to.
Oh, for sure. It's like having a roadmap, but instead of just blindly following it, we're learning how to navigate and adapt it to our own unique journey. Now, I know we've only scratched the surface of unlimited power in this deep dive. There are so many more insights and techniques packed into this book.
Oh, absolutely there are. But hopefully we've, sparked your curiosity a bit and given you a taste of what's possible when you start to tap into your own unlimited power.
Yeah, I think we have. So for our listeners out there, if there was one key takeaway you'd want them to walk away with, what would it be?
I'd say it's this. Believe in your ability to shape your own reality. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, they all have the power to create the life you desire. So don't underestimate your own potential.
That's a really powerful message. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave our listeners with a final thought. If Robbins is right, and our beliefs truly do shape our reality, what beliefs are you holding on to that might be limiting your potential? What beliefs might you need to shift or cultivate to unlock your own unlimited power? That's something to ponder as you continue on your journey. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.